Hello and welcome students. Today we are starting another chapter of 8th class, The Luncheon. It is written by Somerset Maugham. This is a very interesting story wherein the writer, the narrator is caught in a situation wherein he cannot express his feelings to a stranger whom he has met. But when he meets the stranger several years later, he feels that nature has taken the revenge on that woman. So let's take a look at the chapter. As I said, the theme of this chapter is written here. The Luncheon, written by Somerset Maugham, is a satire on overeating and false show. This story is built round the narrator who meets a lady at an up-class restaurant and eats all expensive dishes, costing the narrator his entire month's salary. So, what happens in the story is that it's a satire. Satire is a form which represents that it's a comedy, it finds an irony in a situation wherein it comments on overeating and false show. People who believe in false show just to show off their reputation, they are caught in such a situation. Like the narrator is caught here. He meets a lady at an up-class restaurant. He doesn't say no to the lady's invite to go and have a meal at a very up-class restaurant. And she eats all expensive dishes, one after the other. The lady keeps ordering all the expensive dishes in the story, and all of them cost the narrator his entire month's salary. So, in this story, in this narrator, the entire salary of the narrator is gone just in one meal. Let's take a look at the life of the author. About the author, Somerset Maugham was born in 1874 and he died in 1965. He was an eminent novelist, playwright, short story writer, travel writer, autobiographer, and essayist. During his long career as a writer, Maugham produced a large number of novels, plays, and short stories. Some of his best novels include Of Human Bondage, The Moon, and Sixpence, and Cakes and Alley. These are few of his most celebrated novels. Now let's talk about the summary. So, as it tells, The Luncheon is an example of irony written in first person. So, irony, as I said, it's a satire. Satire and irony go side by side. Irony wherein a person is caught in a situation whereas he's in a trouble, but it is represented in a form of comedy. So it is written in first person, means the person who's going through this tragedy is expressing his thoughts, his emotions, the situation in his own words. So it is written in first person. The narrator was a young writer who lived in Paris. So the narrator, he was a young writer, he was a budding writer. So he just started writing and he didn't earn much and he lived in Paris. He was highly praised by one of her lady fans through letters. As writers receive letters, they receive fan mails from several of the readers. This man also started writing, and in the beginning, he didn't have many fans. He just got letters through a bunch full of fans, one of whom was this lady. She wrote him letters and expressed her desire to meet him as she was passing through Paris. She said in the letter that she was passing through Paris and the writer invited her for a luncheon as courtesy. As he came to know that she was passing through that place, he invited her for a luncheon. Luncheon a meal that is, had over a conversation with mostly a formal meeting. But the lady was not in a considerate mind. Considerate. She was not thoughtful of the position of the other person in front of her. She was selfish. The antonym of considerate is selfish. So she was not in a considerate mind. She ate almost all of the rich dishes, despite saying she never ate more than one thing for luncheon. As you read the chapter, you will find the sentence being uttered by the lady, and you will find it in the question answers that we will do later also, that she is mentioning time and again. Every time she orders a dish, and she orders not an ordinary dish, she orders some rare, some very expensive dish, and she mentions thereafter that she doesn't eat much. She never eats more than one thing, whereas she eats many things during the luncheon, and it was actually the narrator who ordered the cheapest thing on the menu, mutton chops, for himself. And she kept commenting on that too, mentioning that it was not healthy to eat mutton. The author should be eating something light. So that's how the story goes. The writer somehow managed to pay the bill. While she was ordering one after the other expensive dish, the narrator was worried to pay the bill. Earlier, when he accepted the invite, when he went to meet her there at Foyt's, which is the expensive restaurant wherein they meet, he had thought that he will manage somehow with a part of his salary. After all, he was going to meet his fan for the first time. But while she was ordering several dishes, he realized that it was a mistake, and he started thinking of various ways how he will be able to pay the bill. And if at all the bill exceeds the amount he carried, how would he manage to pay the restaurant? And it would be so embarrassing for him in front of his guest. So somehow he escaped that situation. Thankfully, the bill came of about the same amount he had. He only had 3 francs left with him after paying the whole amount, which he left as a tip. And he had to manage the whole month somehow because he lost his entire month's salary in that. So after 20 years, they met again, and he found that nature had taken revenge on him. It was after 20 years that both of them met again. And it was with her name that he recognized her. He didn't recognize her because of her physical appearance. He had forgotten, and she had changed a lot. She had gained a lot of weight, 21 stones. So he was unable to recognize her from her physical appearance, but from her name. He recognized her, and he somehow felt that nature had taken revenge on her. He thought that the spirit of karma has come back again, and it has taken a revenge on her by her putting on a lot of weight, as she was so inconsiderate when she met her at the restaurant. So this is summary of this chapter. Your home task is to read this chapter and find out the questions, answers to the questions that are given in the text. Thank you.